Brodes Media.
Let's begin with acquiring a safety. 26 years old, 70-plus starts in his career. He's not going to grab a bunch of interceptions, so he will not do what C.J. Gardner-Johnson did. But he will be sound. He will make his tackles. He can give you some versatility with some matchups with tight ends, possibly with certain packages. Here's the thing. We don't know exactly what Desai is going to do, how he's going to operate, what his business is going to look like. But I do know that Edmunds is going to be a nice, solid structure player that won't be flashy. Okay, it's not going to be game-changing wow plays, but it will be important. It will be crucial. He played under Mike Tomlin for a long period of time. You're disciplined when that's the case, okay? You're not going to have that many starts when you're that young in the league if you weren't doing what you're supposed to do when Mike Tomlin is your head coach. So I like the move. Now, there's another way to look at it. This is now his second straight year of signing a one-year deal with this type of money. Brodes, if he was something special, or if he was something that was very solid, why wouldn't he have cashed in during free agency? Why wouldn't there be a team that was willing to give him a couple more years and a couple more dollars? Great question. We see the safety market, and we know that there's a lot happening that's confusing. If you told me C.J. Gardner-Johnson was going to get the deal that he got when he landed in Detroit, I would have said, you're crazy. Think about how many games he missed and think about how many interceptions he had. If he played the full season, he could have done even more. And he could have made a statement to the league with his stats with interceptions. If he had more time out there, he would have had more. But it is what it is. Sometimes it's about timing. And unfortunately for him, CJ that is, unfortunately for Edmunds, unfortunately for someone like Darius Slay, who probably would have liked to get more than what he got here, if we're being honest. When him and Howie and his agent elected to maybe go in a different direction and see what else is possibly out there by picking up the phone and seeing if there's a trade, maybe he could get a little more with an extension and see where the money goes. He probably thought that it's possible to get some more, but at his age and at that position, it didn't seem like there was anyone who was going to budge. My point is, you could bring that side up, but I've seen him play under Mike Tomlin, and I know that considering you lost Marcus Epps and CJ, and right now you're flirting with a Reed Blankenship, an undrafted guy from last season who I think can hold the fort down. If you ask me, do I feel comfortable starting him? Not necessarily. If everything else is seriously strong, though, and everything else is really good, and that's your weakest link, I think you can get by there. But I think Edmunds is going to be a nice, good player for you. He's going to make the tackles he's supposed to make. You could put him in the box. And that's where, his bread and butter has been made. So I'm fascinated to see how Desai utilizes him. But you're going to be able to help with the run. Maybe throw him in linebacker with certain packages. I read that on The Athletic as a possibility. I'm excited about Nakobe Dean. So that's going to be great to see him take a jump in his career, learning last season, watching this team thrive, being an important sponge on the sideline, soaking in a lot of information, watching others play, watching how to compete. Not that he didn't know. He played at Georgia, and he was a damn important piece to the puzzle. But he's going to step in hungry because he probably thought, I can play. I'm being a good teammate here. I'm glad to be here in Philadelphia. I know I can go out there and do what TJ Edwards is doing. I know I can go out there and do what Kaiser White's doing. He's sitting on the sideline salivating because he wants to perform and he wants to prove it to everybody. Well, he's going to get his chance. And at times, Edmunds is going to be right by his side, helping out. Jordan, David, they're going to be stopping the run. it's going to be difficult, especially with the trenches on the defensive side of the football, to go through this team. I like the move. It's a Howie Roseman move. It is typical. Young, cheap, with a little bit of experience. And I just want to make sure it's stressed that I value where he played. Mike Tomlin doesn't take any BS. And he started a lot of games. There's something to that. Because you know he doesn't mess around. Disciplined is the word that I really like to use. Because that's what it takes to play in Pittsburgh for that defense. And there's been a lot of people who covered him that said, when you watch Fitzpatrick play, he's able to do some of the things that he did because of how well Edmunds was. Edmunds, to a degree, is doing things which then allowed someone else to pop off and to have the leisure to roam around and go be a ball hawk and go make a play. Here's the difference here, though, right? If we're going to look at all sides. They don't have Fitzpatrick. It's Reed Blankenship. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be beneficial. But yeah, I mean, it's not C.J. Gardner-Johnson next to Edmunds. Take that for what it is. I still think when it's all said and done, what you lost last year defensively, or what we thought we were losing heading into the offseason with your defense, and where we are right now, with the next step being we're starting to get a little bit closer to the draft and we're easing our way through, you're in a really good spot.